Hey, good evening, everybody. Bruce Foster here, Jetski Republic. I'm your host for tonight. Welcome to the show, and hope you've all had a great weekend. And I personally never got up to a great deal myself. Very quiet weekend for me, and but I hope you guys all managed to get out and do stuff. Um, so, what we got on the show tonight? We're going to have our usual roundup, quick catch up, and touch base with what's going on here locally around Australia. There's nothing much happening at the moment with Billy. He's on a rest period over in the States at the moment. He's having a bit of a holiday time with his mum and dad. Um, so I think he's due to start racing in a couple of weeks. I might be wrong. Um, but I think he's gearing up towards the Triple Crown Series as well, which is finishing up in Thailand at the end of this year. I know there's a few of the Aussie people going over there for that. Whether they're racing or taking part or watching it, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a mixed bag. Um, so immediately, what's going on at the moment is let's just jump in and have a look and see what's going on. We'll go over the waters first. Obviously, New Zealand have got their round two enduro series due soon, due on the 4th of September. Registrations are open for it. I'll move that up just so that it's in the view of the screen a little bit better. It might actually work if I open it up a bit better. There we go. That's probably a bit better for you. Yeah, so the registrations are open for round two enduro. Arua Beach up north of Auckland. Yeah, if you have any questions, even if you're in Australia at the moment, if you're looking if you're considering racing, I had Dave Venel on a couple of weeks back, and he had said if there's anybody over here wants to race and they're like thinking about heading over, um, touch base with him, and he'll try and hook you up with something as far as the ski's concerned. So just on that note, there's a page kicking around as well, which Kylie Almers and I think Jeff Lakeford started up. And it's basically try and create a network for those that want to race overseas but can't afford the transportation costs. Freight costs at the moment are costing an absolute arm and a leg. And there's a bunch of people wanting to race overseas, but they can't realise that dream because it's costing far too much. So the idea is to put people in touch with those that are located in the countries of riders' choices, in the hope that they can get fixed up with a ski. Pay, obviously, there's some people rent them out, there's some people will rent them out for it, but I think it's a pretty good idea for those that want to do it, that don't want to ship their own ski over there, because it's, the costs are just going nuts at the moment. Yeah, so there's that page is kicking around. I can't remember the name of it. I'm not sure who's tuning in. Might be able to give me a heads up. Jeff, are you on, Jeff, at all? I wonder if he could maybe shed some light on it, or Kylie, if they happen to be there. I don't think they are. So anyway, yeah, so that's the Enduro Series, round two, winter series over in New Zealand. Yeah, get your registrations in if you can. Let's go on to New South Wales. Let's just get that closed a minute. So what's going on there? They've got their AGN this coming weekend. There's a bunch of nominations that are out there at the moment. I'm not sure if that's been added to. If there's someone from New South Wales that could maybe shed some light, if there's some additions to the list. All the usual positions are up for, I think the nominations might be closed though. Yeah, nominations are already closed. So 27th of August, 5 p.m. at the Three Swallows Hotel. The event is, no, I saw a list somewhere. Let's see where it is. Let me just track through and go, no, I'll find that. Let me just find that. There we go. That's the nominations. That was of the Oh, there we go. Sorry, they've extended the nominations. They're keeping nominations open till Friday at 5 o'clock this week. So obviously the AGM's the day after. Try and get a few more people to put their hand up to help out. And at the moment, these are the nominations. I mistakenly looked at this the other day and didn't realise it was nominations. Stupid me, never read it properly. But yeah, so at the moment it's I think it's pretty much the status quo at the moment as far as people who were involved in it last year. I think it's the same committee at the moment by nominations. Although I think Seb was on that committee last year as a general committee member, so there may be a few new nominations on that list at the moment. So yeah, throw your hand up if you want to nominate yourself for it, or if somebody can nominate you, put your nomination in, and then obviously you can vote for it all on Saturday. The other thing New South Wales they had was their training day at the weekend. Seemed to go pretty well. Jeff, I'll give you a minute there, mate. I think is that the group? It is, yep. Jeff just sent me a message through. Give me a moment. I'll just open it up and I'll get you the exact link for that group. 2 seconds, and it won't. Worldwide Racing Jetski Rental and Share Group. So look that one up on Facebook if you're interested. A bunch of people like-minded that all want to go racing overseas, just don't want to ship their skis over, or can't afford to ship their skis over. Try and make it a bit more cost-effective and get more of our homegrown racers overseas. So fingers crossed it works out good. And I love the idea of it. The idea of it's really, really good. Yeah, so that's the one to look for. Worldwide Racing Jetski Rental and Share Group. Okay, look that one up if you're interested and join the group. Jeff, thanks for that one, mate. Yeah, so New South Wales had their training day at the weekend there. As you can see, a bunch of people there turned up for the practice, old and new. Some new faces in there, I believe. And their first round kicks off on the 11th of September. Ticketing links are going to be going up shortly as well, so keep an eye out for them on their Facebook page. All the links will be in there. So certainly, and they've got quite a packed schedule as well, very ambitious. You've kicked it off with your training day, so congratulations to everyone involved in New South Wales for getting that started. And it's the first of many events and races that they've got over the course of the season. So fingers crossed for you guys, it all works out. So good luck. Victoria, they've got this big event down at Glen Maggie Boat Club, or Race Boat Club, coming up in September as well. I don't know if this will. Actually surprised myself there. I didn't realise what I did there. Yeah, so I didn't realise it was going to be it caught me by surprise and with the sound in the headphones, which was pretty funny. Yeah, so Glen Maggie's coming up. Oh God, what was the date of it? Oh yeah, 17th, 18th of September. So it's the week after New South Wales. 2-day event, great looking location, camping's there, there's a clubhouse, the whole thing's all contained there. Get in early, there's still some camping spots left, so you better get in quick if you're thinking about going. yeah, it would be a great weekend. I would have loved to have went down to it myself. Unfortunately, I'm a bit predisposed doing something else that weekend. But God, it would have been a good one. But fingers crossed I can get down to something later on in the season. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the local stuff at the moment. Queensland PWC, they've got the presentation this Saturday night up at the Brisbane Holiday Village. I think you can still turn up, but you won't get a meal because I think it's past that cut-off point. But you could maybe touch base with Carla McLennan if you're interested in going, see if you could maybe get a table or a seat with a meal. And I'm sure Carla will probably work some magic to make it happen. So that's this coming Saturday night for Queensland. Still no word or update on when they're likely to have their AGM or what their schedule for the season is going to look like. So I think there's a few things in the pipeline, but it's still got to be announced. So surely we'll find out in due course what that's going to look like. And finally, away from the racing, Yamaha has obviously launched their new 2023 lineup. I think it's pretty much the same as usual. Colours are a bit different. Let's see if I can get some of these opened up. And we'll flick through them. Some nice ones. Not everybody's a fan of Yamaha. Not my choice of ski. I read a comment going around the other day there about the new Sea-Doo, the green one, that they weren't keen on the racing green. I actually think it was quite nice. The carbon fibre stuff looks nice as well, but yeah, the price is a bit off-putting for me though. That's the only problem. But I'm sure some people will have it. And the last I heard, the allocation for Australia has already been bought and sold, so it is a limited edition. So, but there's the Yamaha lineup. Looks pretty bright, and that one's nice. All white. That looks pretty keen. Yeah, I gotta say that one does look nice. Yeah, so there you go. Like, I'm keen to hear what other people's thoughts are. Let's go some of the comments. Where's number 2? Billy's here, Jeff. Well done. I'm catching up now. Matt's just confirmed. Yep, nominations are still open. Yep, we've got that one. Still looking for general committee and a secretary. There you go. Yeah, Billy, I saw that list as well. That was the one that popped up. Yeah, Julie put her name forward for secretary, but I guess she's probably looking for someone else to do it. Go look at a man with the money. Matt needs a secretary. He can't have two positions in the one household. Jeff, Matt. Okay, training day was awesome. Good to hear. Billy, I'll mention it as soon as he comes on. Paul, I'll ask him. I'll see what he says. He probably just burst out laughing. Yeah, Jeff, I don't think they have. QPWC haven't announced anything for the season except the prize giving. Presentation. Yeah, Billy, I heard that one as well. The Kite Festival for PWC. They're doing some event in conjunction with the Redcliffe Kite Festival. They did it last year, apparently. But, again, they're cutting it a bit fine. You know, you're a month out from that, 4 weeks out from that, and there's still no word on it. Everybody else is jumping on the... Everybody else is jumping on the getting their schedules out early, so they're jumping on it early and getting things organised. So... yeah, PWC's got a bit of catching up to do. Yes, Billy, it is a Yamaha. I get that. I was curious to know what people's thoughts were on it, especially for those that the Yamaha purists. Right, okay, I'll ask him. I'll ask him for you, Billy, see what he says. You've probably got him on speed dial, though. But, yeah, so there's a Yamaha lineup for 2023. So there we go. Not too bad. For Yamahas, I suppose. All right, so let's get our guest on, and we'll go from there. Let's see where we're at. Let me just flick the screens over, and let's get the man on. See, hopefully he's available. He's probably tapping his fingers waiting on me. Fingers crossed. Don't know about you guys, but it's bloody cold here in Brisbane tonight. There we go. I hear noises.
Hey Bruce, how are you?
Paul, not bad. Have you got video?
I haven't. It's got like a little weird symbol on there. Let me see what I can figure out this end. I can see you now. I can't see myself.
Yeah, I've popped up the virtual camera.
Why is my camera not working?
You on your phone or you on a computer?
Phone.
The joys.
Yeah.
Trying to find the icon. All Billy wants to know is, can he borrow a ski off you for round one?
I got a Superjet here.
Billy, is that any good to you, mate? He's getting me to do his dirty work for him. That's what it is, Paul. You want me to dial you back?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Sorted.
Hey, there we go. Oh, I like
Much
the backdrop. I like the backdrop, Paul.
That was actually a COVID little project that I did where all the trophies over the years were in boxes and boxes and boxes. So
have you purposely sat down with that as your backdrop?
Well, in my shed is the quietest place at night time with a couple of kids running around. So if I want to be quiet, I come out to my shed and do a workout, or otherwise it's a lot of extra noise going on.
First of all, thanks for coming on, mate. We've had conversations by chat only, and we've never physically seen each other on screen together. So thanks for coming on. And I know it's been a couple of weeks in the making.
Yep.
And congratulations to your appointment to the AGSBA as well.
I had to get my arm twisted to go around again, to be honest. But I think we have got a good committee there, so hopefully big things for the year. Yeah,
exactly. I think it's leading the way with the states starting to come together with some things as well, and then you guys just overseeing the whole thing, and then obviously the nationals. Hopefully it'll all gear up towards the nationals. The nationals will be a good event, real good.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a good spread. Like we've got guys and girls, and then people from Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, WA, and riders that are ski riders that are runabout riders. So I think it's a pretty good representation across the board.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, tell us about yourself and how you got into jet skiing.
So basically grew up doing a lot of water skiing. And from a very young age, sort of 6-7 years old, doing a lot of water skiing. And from there, as I got older, I actually grew up in a suburb called Sutherland, and where my parents lived, down on the very next corner, was a gentleman that used to race jet skis by the name of David White, and used to see the Great White Racing jet skis out the front of his parents' house quite a lot, and sort of got that little thought in my mind that one day I wanted a jet ski. And so by the time I got to about 18, so a bit of a late start to jet skiing, but
I don't know, there's some people have been starting their jet skiing in their 30s, 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just different level.
It was sort of my first opportunity where I had a Kawasaki 650 SX and rode that for a couple of years, just mucking around on the river and things like that. And then I got talked into buying a Sea-Doo HX, which had just come out at the time in 95, and started racing from there. So.
And you're still on a Sea-Doo?
Yeah. Well, most of my time's been on Sea-Doo. I have raced every single brand at some point or the other, but obviously Sea-Doo's I've got a bit of a soft spot in my heart.
They've just got such a huge chunk of the market, haven't they? It's just
and like for me personally, I just like their handling style more so. Like the Yamaha FX that I had, we set up really well to handle, but obviously you need to put a little bit of work and development in to get it how I wanted it. Where the Sea-Doo, you can literally, like the new RXPX that I've got, you can throw that around a racetrack straight out of the box. So
all the RXPX purists will probably agree with you.
Yeah.
Like I don't have one myself, so I've got no idea what they're like. I'm on the old Kawasaki 300LX, so yeah. So, but a lot of the guys that have bought theirs will certainly know what the goal is with that, especially with the sponsors and that on it. So
yeah, there's just such a predictable handling ski and the ergonomics and all those little things that go into it, especially when you start building up into GP skis. The ergonomics and sort of ease of riding is the most important part. So
I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what the new Kawasaki is like.
Yeah, 100%. Like as I said, I've raced a Cowie in the past, and in rough water, really, like back in the day.
Well, it's the same hull apparently. It's the same hull as the original, as the last version. So the hull hasn't changed that much. It's everything else above the hull that's changed. So
when you're on a good thing, I suppose, stick to it.
Well, it's one of my few offshore events, I guess. But I guess
and even in circuit, if they're a bit lighter, they'd probably do a little bit better in circuit, to be honest.
Yeah, probably would, but it's not. It's too bloody heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. It is what it is.
So, you are obviously the current Australian GP Runabout champion.
Yeah, sort of a byproduct. Unfortunately, we haven't had the Nationals since 2021 and 22 obviously got missed. So yeah,
you do get the distinction of being a champion for 2019, 2020 and 21.
It's sort of.
Does 22 count as well? Because we don't actually have the Nationals until 23.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, in my mind, you're not really the champ when you haven't actually defended it from the year previous. But on the flip side of that is,
hey, that's no
I
fault
haven't
of
actually
yours.
had the chance to defend it. It wasn't my choosing, obviously. So, and I'm not getting any younger, so I look at it like I've missed out 3 years of possibly trying to get a good result again. But that's life.
Listen, all the young pups will be gunning for you.
Oh, 100%, and so they should be. Like I'm too old to be sitting at that top mantle. I think I've got a lot of race experience. There's a lot of guys faster than me, but I think my experience on the track's what sort of keeps me in the running, and hopefully my fitness, which I always try and work hard on. So
Billy's going on about this jet ski for round one, Billy Briggs. So
I do have a Yamaha Superjet sitting in my shed, so he's more than welcome to pick that up.
Listen, if he's happy to take it, he'll probably give you a call. But
I'll have to disappoint him because, as I said, kids running around. I think I've got kids things happening that weekend, so I don't think I'm even going to be there round one. So if I'm not there, the ski ain't there. How shall I put it that way? And to be honest, that RXPX that I've bought, it is remaining 100% as it came out of the showroom. There's nothing done to it bar a sticker kit. So yeah, it's not really intended as a race ski. It's basically just a little bit of a show pony to sort of give something back to a few of the people that support me over the years.
That's the one that you had the graphics done on it, didn't you?
Yeah. So it looks awesome at the moment. So
it does
very
look really nice. Yeah, it does look good.
Unfortunately, it still hasn't touched the water yet, so I don't know if it floats, but hopefully we'll have a bit of luck there.
Hey. You know, all the people could joke about that one because it's a Sea-Doo.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
Long enough, so
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
No, I'm sure it'll be pretty right.
Raymond Bennett's just said that the best weekend of his racing time was the 2019 Nationals. He had a ball. Would you agree with that one?
Yeah, it was a fantastic event. Obviously in GP Runabout we actually had a very sort of decent lineup and good class, good riders. And again, in 2017, like that, to be honest, that was probably my favourite Nationals because Redcliffe, it was smooth in the morning, rough in the afternoon. So that's the one that I sort of felt that I had to earn a little bit more. And 2018 was obviously a little bit disappointing with the entry numbers and sort of was a bit cold. I think I've never raced in colder conditions. But at the end of the day, as the person that had won it previously, I've got to show up. I can't control who else shows up. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the thing. Like people will say, "There's hardly anybody there," but that's not your fault. At the end of the day, you put your hat in the ring to race, and it's up to everyone else to you can't stand back and criticise somebody for winning something when no one else made the effort
No,
to
exactly.
at the end of the day,
And
you entered. You still decided to do it. No one else
yep,
did.
yep.
Not your
Sometimes
fault.
these people obviously maybe didn't sort of get their skis ready in time, or they've had other little issues, and I can understand that. We've all been around racing for a while, but you know,
listen, I know there's been a load of issues lately with race events where people have been getting caught out with the tech stuff. You know, all the technical stuff and that.
Yep.
Hopefully this year, hopefully this season now, people have kind of got their head around that a little bit more and are a bit more aware of it. And that was the only thing I was trying to make a call out about a while back, which was, you know, communicate it clearly, kind of over communicate it more rather than just assuming that people should refer to the rule book. You know. Because unfortunately, a lot of people won't, and it's easy to turn around and say. But you should have checked the rule book. Well, that's true, but a little bit of assistance would have probably helped. A little bit more,
I agree.
Especially for those with less experience.
And I suppose as well, people do need. I suppose in one point we're trying to educate them up that they do need to be aware of the rule book. Because if they ever have aspirations of racing overseas, certainly the race directors and tech guys overseas aren't going to be helping them. They're just going to be expected to know. People do need to take their own responsibility on that side, but assistance can be given to point him in the right direction as well.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, and like at one point, I got asked to stop talking about it. But I wasn't throwing anybody under the bus. That was the problem. I was just trying to kind of make sure that things were communicated a bit better in the future. You know, so. You know.
And I think that is probably one of the problems with being sort of more of a smaller sport at the moment. Sometimes people just assume people know these things, but sometimes they don't. So it is what it is. We can all live and be better, I suppose, and learn from things. So
it's a lot of grey areas because there's like mates of mates, and there's always perception that there's favouritism because they're friends with them and all this kind of stuff, and
it's hard to not get that because obviously you want guys that know what they're looking at mechanically.
You do, but
if those guys know, they're probably already working on the skis anyway. Like it's near impossible to get an outsider
a small community as well.
Overseas.
So it is a small community at the moment, and the idea is to try and get it bigger so that there is more of the, so that there's more integrity in it, and there's less people that are like there's then less clashes of conflict. Conflict clashes. So
I'm a firm believer.
There's no any crosses of conflict of interest or anything like that where it's a mate of a mate or whatever, you know.
Exactly. I'm a firm believer. If we all pull in the right direction, in the same direction, and you're allowed to have those debates where you might not agree, and we certainly do on the AJXBA executive. We have debates all the time where we clearly have differences, but we keep it at a level that we're having a good discussion. We get a consensus of what the right thing to do is going forward. We might not all agree with it, but then we sort of
and I think as a community, it's very much like that. Everybody has a different way of looking at it. We've got different ideas on how they think things should be working, and it's all good and well to throw these ideas in there, but unless there's people willing to step in to make these things happen, or the funding's there, or whatever, depending on what it is, at the moment it's still very much a small minority community at the moment as far as racers are concerned.
And I'm a firm believer too. If you've got an idea, I'm more than willing to hear everybody's idea, to be honest, when it comes to racing. But if it's your idea, then you need to also push it and be the catalyst of getting that idea to work.
Exactly. Help to get it over the line.
There's nothing annoys me worse than people that have this idea and then throw it off to somebody else to think they'll run with your idea. It's like, no, if you're that sort of, you want that idea to work, you get in and help and get that idea working. So we've got a lot of people that sort of sit on the sidelines and throw mud, but at the end of the day, I think a
lot of people have got these great ideas, and then they'll just say they'll mention it. They'll try and get it out in the open somehow. And not necessarily go direct to the committee and say, this is why don't we try this? And then stay on board to try and help see that across the line. Instead, they throw the idea out there and then they just step back and hope it happens.
Exactly.
And then they complain because it's not happening.
And people also get lost in the fact that we've got our own families, we've got our own sports, we've got our own work, we've got all these other things, and we're trying to just do with the best we can for the sport. But that's part of it. We put our hand up to do it, so we'll keep going.
Exactly, and that's the thing. We've got to remember that we're all doing this and just purely for the love of doing it. Really, there's no financial gain out of it.
No, certainly not.
It's just because it keeps us out of trouble.
100%.
That's the only reason I do this. It just keeps me busy during the week because I'm doing nothing else
Exactly.
during the
Yep.
week.
Yep.
So
Otherwise, you're sitting watching Netflix for way too long.
there's nothing on. I think I've probably watched everything as it is.
Yeah.
So anyone else in your family that races or rides?
No. Like me, and I've got one older brother, and we were sort of very sporty growing up, and yeah, sort of. We were also both very competitive, so we got to that age where he went off in his sports, and I sort of headed off in my sports. So it was probably better for us. So he's actually a pro MMA fighter and runs an MMA gym down here in the Sutherland Shire.
Right.
And
Okay.
prior to that, he was sort of racing at a sort of pro level. At an Australian pro level on mountain bikes, so yeah, he did pretty well. And yeah, I was sort of more sort of soccer and then into the jet ski racing.
Would you mountain bike? Would you?
Yeah, I do. I try and get out on the mountain bike at least sort of twice a week. So I'll do.
Man, that's lethal stuff, man. That's like that's balls of steel.
Yeah, I'm not a downhiller. Don't get me wrong. I'm not out there doing crazy jumps because.
That's madness. That like we've got a track here in Daisy Hill, and it's the narrowest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I've seen people just absolutely flying through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like my bones, so I don't do any of that crazy jumps. But I'm pretty confident I set a pretty good speed when it comes to sort of cross country and just keeping the speed up, and really that sort of helps transfer as well with your agility on the bike to jet skiing. So
yeah, that's true. Balancing of isn't it?
Yeah,
quick reaction and control. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Now
100%.
Billy's got a really good question. How's your young lad getting on at the football? It's a good question.
Yeah, no, he's doing. I got. Two of my boys are doing quite well. They're both soccer obsessed. So my youngest one.
Notice I called it football. I never called it soccer.
Yeah, I know. I should do that. But in Australia, like even my kids, I'm a bad influence. They even call it soccer everywhere. But yeah, no, in the football, they enjoy it. Like one of them's in the local little rep development squad. He's only just about to turn 7, and he goes pretty well. And the other one's training hard and sort of doesn't come as naturally to him. But yeah, he's doing well and improving.
So you've got what? Two boys?
2 boys, 9, and just a couple of weeks away from 7.
Just the 2 kids? Just the 2?
Yeah, just the 2 boys.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
That's more than enough.
I know. I stopped at 2 myself. I had a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was more than enough. I didn't want any more than that.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family of 3, and it was absolute carnage.
Yeah, well, my wife's one of 6 kids, so I don't know how her parents kept up with all of them, to be honest. But lifestyle's a bit busy these days. I don't know how people have those big families, but good luck to them.
God, I don't know how people can have 4 kids and nah, I couldn't do it. Yeah. So, what's your missus get up to? Does she come out on a jet ski with you? Do you do a lot of bike riding?
No, never. I think I've probably had her on a jet ski maybe 2 or 3 times. I got her on a jet ski a couple of years ago when we went to Fiji. And as far as coming to my racing, I think she's been to maybe 2 races or 3 races, and generally they've been Thailand. not so much turning up the local boring ones.
Oh, that sounds like my wife. My wife's exactly the same.
Yep.
When we bought the jet ski way back in 2013, it was very much a case of, I'll come out on a jet ski with you. Yeah, okay, cool. So, and she was initially.
Yep.
But then after a period of time, stop.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember the last time she was out.
Yeah.
So, and she won't come. She won't come to any of the events.
Yeah. Yeah, I said to her for a while, and it sort of broke that because she actually did come to the 2019 Nationals. But before that, every time she'd come to a race, which had been Thailand, I had a mechanical or some sort of problem. So I hadn't got a good result. So it was almost a case of, you stay away from the racing because you might be my bad karma that's following me to racing. But we seem to have broken that in 2019.
So are you planning on going this year?
Look, I'd like to. Obviously, I don't own the skis that I race, so it's not really my decision. If I like personally, I think we should have 100% gone in 17, 18, and 19.
You need to get in the rear a little bit. Hey, come on. We're missing
an
opportunity.
I do. Don't worry about that. I sort of obviously I race in Dan's Jet Power, and we've had fantastic results.
I think there's a good sized contingent going over from Australia.
Basically, states. I've been training since 2017 as if I'm going to Thailand every year, and hasn't come off again yet. Last time I was there was 2014. So I'll keep training. I'll make sure I'm ready, and hopefully I can either get one of our skis over there or maybe get something over there. But it's still one of those ones I want to tick off.
Yeah, there's certainly a mixed bag of people. There's some that are looking to race, and there's some that are just going over to spectate. I know. I think Jeff's going. Jeff Lakeford's planning on going
Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
camera and taking a bunch of shots over
Yeah.
there. So,
Like it was suggested we just go over and spectate in 2019, but I'm not that stage in my racing where I want to just watch. I want to still compete. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say that I can get a great result there, but I'm confident if everything goes right.
listen, if I wasn't
with.
the age that I was at, I seriously would have gave it a go. But I've missed the boat. I've literally missed it, and my body's too banged up already with everything that's going on with me. So I'm definitely out of the loop. Like, I'd love to try it. I'd love to give it a go, especially the enduros. I think I could.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I could probably manage an enduro.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm just a
Yeah,
bit
you
weary
never
about,
say never.
I'm just a
You
bit
never say
weary about
never.
how my body would hold up.
Yeah, you never know.
Also, I actually enjoyed sitting, watching, and putting up live videos. Like, I did the stream at the States Championships for Queensland, and I actually enjoyed providing that as a service to let people
exactly.
see it.
Yeah, it's
And I would
like
love
we
to
need
be able
all
to do
those
more of
parts in the
that.
sport.
So that's my idea, is to try and get more of that. So I don't know if I'll even touch base with racing at all. So
Yep.
like,
No, like Thailand is
never,
definitely the King's Cup's definitely one of those events that as a racer you got to get to, even if you are going to spectate. But yeah, I've been there 3 times, haven't had the result due to mechanical issues. So I still feel that's one of those things in the bucket list that I need to at least come back with a result.
You've
I'm
got
happy
an
with.
itch that you still need to scratch.
yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens. Never say
So
never.
what's your racing plan then? Are you planning on racing the season, or
Yeah, like
or picking and
it's
choosing certain
basically
events?
yeah, like I enjoyed. I think it was 2020 or 21. I actually came up to Queensland for a couple of events, and that's one thing since I've held the Australian #1 for the Runabout is that I've basically tried to get to every event I can. I think I've done all the New South Wales events, bar sort of 1 or 2 that have been possibly end up being washed out and things like that.
Yep.
And as that sort of position in the sport, you've got to get out there. You've got to represent. You've got to show sort of the juniors and the younger people coming through, and be positive about it. So sometimes in the past, the #1s didn't really turn up to local races. So that's something I still feel strongly about, that I'll get to as many local races as I can. And if I get to travel a bit into Queensland or Victoria, I'll try and get to some of those as well.
Nice one. Billy's just said he's agreed with you about you can't just sit and watch.
No,
to
exactly.
get involved
Yeah,
with
like
it.
for me, 2019 especially, we should have raced. There's no question in my mind that we should have been on the line that year. But again, yeah, it's
And
not my total decision.
Raymond Bennett says it would be awesome to see you giving it a go.
Yeah. It's as you say, it's that scratch that I've still got that itch I've still got to scratch. So hopefully we'll get the chance. If not this year, maybe next year.
Got to sweet talk a few people.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm sure your wife will have her bag packed pretty quick.
Yeah. No, if she doesn't come, I'm sure she'll. Depends on whether the boys
if you're
want to come
going to
over.
Thailand, you're not going on your own. She'll be going. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I know if that was me, my wife would be coming as well.
Yeah. She knows I'm pretty focused when I go to a sporting event, so I'm going to be there and racing. I don't really drink, so I'll be just preparing and getting ready to make sure I can put on the best effort.
Now, Billy's asking the question, are you still going to do development program?
Yeah, like I still want to. I sort of put out there maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, that I was actually going to offer sort of free training, because I also run a bit of a jet ski school on the side, which I've done since like 1999 or something like that.
I think that's what Billy's referring to. Could well be.
Yeah, so I still do a little bit of that. And as I was about to say, I put an offer out there for juniors and women's runabout that were obviously 2 sort of categories we were trying to build up to do free training. And unfortunately, I didn't really get any takers. It is what it is. If I haven't got that knowledge there that people want, then so be it. But yeah, I'm always willing to help people out and get their racing techniques. Sometimes people are a bit nervous to ask as well, so I can understand that. But hopefully,
I think they feel a bit intimidated, and having spoken to some of the girls that are up in Queensland, I've found sometimes that the male-dominated environments can be a bit intimidating for them sometimes, and it's only really the thicker-skinned ladies who can rise above it, or not rise above it is the word, but can kind of just battle through it and ignore it.
Yeah.
Whereas for some, it's probably a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand that.
So they just keep quiet and they just turn up and race.
Yeah, even at local league, like whether it's Queensland or the New South Wales ones, I always make sure I'm trying to out there and sort of holding people, and generally the juniors or women's and that, I'm always actually on the line holding other people. So just try and break down those little barriers so they get to know you, other than just some guy that's riding a ski.
Yeah, exactly. And it's getting like if again, it's all about educating new riders as well, because they won't necessarily know who you are.
No, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, so they're going to think, well, he's just another rider, so why am I want to ask him questions about racing?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know?
And that's definitely one of the issues as well, I suppose. But I'm always out there to help. There's plenty of guys and girls that have
Yeah.
sent me sort of messenger things, and you end up having a bit of a chat to them and try and help their riding. Because at the end of the day, we've all started at some point. Like I was lucky enough to get in with Great White Racing in the early days, which sort of progressed me very quickly. But yeah, we all got to start. We all got to learn at some point.
Yeah. So you got bike racing background as well.
No. So basically, sort of water ski racing, and
Oh
then
yeah,
into
yeah,
jet ski racing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the future's definitely the juniors. Billy's bringing it up. Should you fancy? You do a fantastic job with juniors, showing them the track and stuff like that. So
Yeah, look, we tried to get out with all the juniors this year and just like lead them around the track, make sure they're safe, but also just give them the lines that they should be actually doing when they're on the track, sort of thing. So obviously, if they're out there by themselves, they don't actually see the correct lines. So just trying to help them as best we can.
I know they had 14 juniors at the training day up at Queensland's the day before the state championships, which was really. I know it was a mix. It was a mixed bag. It was some from New South Wales. I think it was some over from New Zealand as well. And then I think we had some Queensland racers up as well. But it was good to see a decent sized turnout, even if it was from a mixed variety of places.
Yeah, exactly. And you need that. We need all the people, and even that. Obviously, the juniors are the future. But I'm sort of at that age too, where even the 20s and the 30s and the 40-year guys and girls are the future as well. Because you see that stage sometimes where people come into the sport for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and then they drift out. And that's probably something we've got to sort of change and keep people in the sport long term, no matter what their age is.
Well, I've touched on that one a few times with the various guests that I've had on, and the number of times that we're always talking about how to bring people into the sport, but we got to also work on how we stop them from leaving the sport as well. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, what's the reasons for that? Is it, you know?
Yeah, and like as far as
driven out by from any kind of internal issue that's going on,
which certainly happens,
or is it financial or whatever? You know.
Yeah. Like I know back in the 90s when I was racing and they had the full tour, generally you'd see people last for 2 or 3 years, and the tours were fantastic. But at the end of the day, that's like 6 rounds, whatever it was. That's a lot of money you spend on traveling and time away from work and accommodation and fuel and all the rest of it. So I'm not really a fan of the full tour because I think it puts pressure on everybody. But if the people that can travel and can afford to travel, awesome. And then have won good nationals and state titles and things like that. I think that's the way the sport needs to head.
Yeah, Billy wants to get rid of politics in the sport. It's certainly an issue that everybody wants to get rid of, but unfortunately, it doesn't matter what sport you're involved with.
Yeah, it's in every sport.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere, some way, some shape or form. You know.
Yeah. Like generally, you try and rise above it, but every now and then, I can't help myself and I have a little bite back, sort of thing, just because I'm a competitive nature.
To me, yeah, exactly. I think that, to be honest, that's natural. I wouldn't, if you're not biting back, then I think it shows you're not really caring.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're keen to defend it, and that's an admirable characteristic to have. So you definitely, it's all the bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of it's nonsense. It's just
it's not needed at all. At the end of the day, as I said earlier, if we all pull in the same direction,
too much finger pointing, too many people having a bit of a chip on their shoulder for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it ends up making it a bit personal as well. You know. So.
Yeah, like some of the personal stuff recently was just ridiculous and gutless, to be honest. But at the end of the day, if we all pull in the same direction, the sport's going to grow, and everybody's.
Well, that's the idea, mate. Anyway. The idea is like if we can, and this is where we need to all do it together, and it doesn't matter. We just keep all that negative shit away, and just get rid of all the crap. And as Raymond said, get rid of the egos. Like at the end of the day, there's room for everybody. It doesn't matter how big the ego is. It's just a question of how they control it. You know?
100%.
And everybody needs to be constructive, so that everybody's pulling.
They need to be constructive, and they need to get in and help where they can. Like we don't expect everybody to be able to help in all instances, but like that's another thing. Like I'm out there helping, setting tracks, doing that sort of stuff whenever I can, and assisting clubs where I can. And then you get sort of newer riders sometimes where they've been around long enough, they know what to do, but they just want to sit in their tent and watch everyone else do it. It's like, come on, guys, you got to if you want to be part of the sport, you got to get in and help, sort of thing. So I figure
Like,
me as being one of the elder people in the sport, if I'm doing it, they all should be helping.
yeah. The thing is, mistakes are going to be made. There's no doubt.
Yep.
You know, it's human nature. You know, but it's trying to refine it, and like there's nothing like any big event or any event that takes place. You're never going to nail it in day one. You're never. It's
No,
always
exactly.
going to be a work in progress, and there's always
Yep.
different factors to take into account, the elements, and
Yep.
you know the logistics, all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
there will be problems. There always
Yep.
will be some kind of a issue or a problem of some sort.
Yeah.
But the point of finger, that to me is just shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
exactly.
just
Especially
absolute
from
shit.
people that aren't putting their hands up themselves to help. So
Yeah.
that's probably, it's
Yeah.
easy to throw mud from a distance and walk away. But, and even thing like you're saying, mistakes, like obviously the current exec, we got rid of day licenses a couple of years ago, which everyone sort of, not everyone, a few people sort of had disagreements with, which that's fine. There was a reason why we got rid of the day licenses, because basically the money wasn't really going where it should have been going. So now that we've got the online membership, you might have seen we made an email announcement yesterday that we're bringing back day licenses.
Yep.
And we're also bringing in a new training day license sort of thing. So we're giving
I
options
saw
for
that on
people
the
to get
page.
in.
I haven't actually mentioned it, but now that you have,
Yeah, exactly. Like
Nice one.
literally people that just want to come down to 1 or 2 training days,
Yep.
now they can do it. 3 training days, now they can do it. People that can only get to 1 or 2 races a year, now there's an option there for them without. And saying that, I also will point out that we actually did reduce the annual license fee as well when we actually got rid of the day licenses. So we're trying to keep everyone's costs under control, and we're trying to make sure the clubs can still make money, and obviously the AJ can make money, because without money in all the clubs and the AJ's accounts, then we can't really do much at all.
It's not a cheap. It's not a cheap event. It's not a cheap association.
No.
To keep functioning, to oversee the whole thing.
Yeah, if people realise the insurance costs that we actually have to pay out, they'd be
especially in this day
mind blown.
Yeah. Especially in this day and
crazy.
age. Yeah. You'll never get it for cheapest peanuts now. You know, cheapest chips. You'll never get it for that.
You can't race like it's in the 1990s, because it's just not the 1990s anymore. It's all changed.
You don't ride by the skin of your pants these days.
Exactly. Yeah. Councils won't let it. Maritime.
Oh God,
won't
no.
Let it, so.
God, no. No, they all want to see your public indemnity and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just, and they want a minimum amount of coverage as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is usually way through the roof, like $10 million or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
what it is.
Raymond saying everybody knows I'm the best. Raymond, does that meant to be a comment? Is that a response to Billy? I think it could be. Raymond saying him and his wife helped, and his kids have helped the New South Wales PWC over the years. We're happy to do it. Didn't ask for anything in return. That's the key, Raymond. Nobody asks for anything in return that wants to help out.
No, exactly. Yeah, we all just want to get the day running and have a good day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and that's the whole idea. So hopefully, I'd like to see everything kind of what's happened in the past stays there.
Exactly.
A lot of lessons have been learned through COVID, and now we're coming out of COVID, and we're starting to move. It's almost like a cleanse, so to an extent.
Yeah, exactly.
And even to start afresh and get moving forward.
Yeah, so, even in that, there's been big events like, I know the Water Ski Association have still cancelled their really big events sort of at the end of the year for 2022. So there's a lot of big associations with a lot more money than us that are still struggling, trying to get through COVID. So I think we've done well. We've announced the Nationals for March 23. We've got the location there, and we're putting everything together. So hopefully we can get some internationals across. And
I've never been there, but I've heard it's meant to be a good one.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's not my favourite race location. It's a bit too much of a lake for me. As I said, Redcliffe, although I hate the beach and the shells and all the rest of the damage that happens in pumps, Redcliffe and St George Sailing Club for me is still Australia's best race sites when it comes to varied conditions.
Listen, we had one of the rounds up at the QPWC, and it was about, I think it was 2 weeks after we had the floods.
Yep.
And you should have seen the amount of shit that was being pulled out of the water. Even where we were, where Billy and all that were racing, like big massive logs, and it was crazy.
And that's even beside COVID. Look how many floods that we've had. Like Sydney's had, like the Hawkes River areas had, and all of New South Wales, Queensland, we've had a lot of floods the last 2 years. So it's not just COVID that's put issues. But for me, I'll go back as far as St George and Redcliffe. I think the New South Wales, and I've said this to a few people, New South Wales riding level has actually dropped a bit since we've been at Chipping Norton, because we just haven't got new guys coming in racing in rough conditions. They're sort of getting used to this lake situation. So for me, I'd like to see New South Wales move around a bit more. I know that's hard with logistics, but we need to race in some rougher conditions, because you can't get too comfortable.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at what the Americans are racing in, when you do all that P1X, P1
Yeah,
Aqua X,
exactly.
it's just like all the offshore stuff. It's just like some of those conditions look absolutely mad.
Yeah, exactly. And we have that, like with Redcliffe and St George Sailing Club. Like when Botany Bay blows up a storm, it's huge rough conditions, and same as Redcliffe. So you got to have that variation in your racing, just to improve everyone's riding.
Mark Glue has suggested, what about Lake Burley, Griffin in Canberra?
Well, to be honest, I think Mark should put his hand up and get that racing again, because a little bit about my sort of past history. I'd actually got out of racing because I had to. I'm not like coming from a rich family, so I sort of stopped racing in about 2001, and I think it was 05 or 06. Mark put on the Canberra race, and that sort of got me back into it pretty much. And then I think I did a nationals again in 08.
So are you saying, Paul, that if Mark can get this off the ground, you'll come and race at that event?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh,
that was a
Mark,
good event.
There you go, mate.
That was a good event.
There you go, mate. Get it done, Mark.
Yeah, get it out there. I'm knowing Mark, he's got all the forms still there sitting ready to go, so he just needs to send them in.
Listen, it's a new dawn. I'm going to let you go, mate. I really appreciate your time. Before you go, we've got a new, it's a new dawn with the whole racing scene in Australia. We're coming out the back end of COVID now, and it's all just looking forward to something good. So for obviously, I'm going to see you at some point in the future. Hopefully, standing next to you, I'll buy you. I'll buy you a pint. Buy you a beer, maybe. So I'll let you go. Before you go, I normally let you guys, our guests, shout out sponsors, supporters, wife, kids, all that kind of stuff. So the floor is yours, and fire away, my friend.
So as I sort of said, I've been racing with the Dan's Jet Power team since 2014. So pretty proud of what we've done. We won 17, 18 and 19 for the nationals, and got runner up in 15 when it was a bit of a tour. Dan's Jet Power. Who else have we got? Boeing trailers, Australian made, best trailers on the market. Jet Pilot, obviously, best wetsuits, gear. They're my main ones. Cronulla Sea-Doo, who I just bought my ski off, so I appreciate all the support. And my wife and kids that let me do what I do still. Sometimes I'm sure they wish I didn't, but once it's in the blood, you just got to keep going.
She knows it keeps you happy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Paul. Listen, I
Cheers,
really appreciate it again. And it's been like I said, it's been a couple of weeks in the making trying to get you on, but we finally got you on. So absolute pleasure catching up with you, and we'll catch up with you again in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks for that.
All right, take it easy, mate. Thanks again.
Bye.
So there we go. Paul Leven. He's current pro runabout champion. So hopefully we'll see him up at the Nationals next year, and defending his title hopefully. But he's happy to hand over the baton to someone else. So great catching up with him, getting to know him, get an understanding of where he comes from. He wants nothing but the best for the sport, as we all do, and he's in a great position to help facilitate it as well with the AGSBA. And we wish them all on that committee nothing but the best. So, Jeff, is Jeff still with us? I wonder. Jeff Lakeford still with us? I'm just wondering how things are going with the domestic violence, the White Ribbon Ride in November. I'm not sure if the invitations are still open or not. But contentious there, Billy. Mr. Baisley giving him a run for his money. That could be interesting. He's been doing well. He did well last season. It'd be interesting to see how Paul does in this year. Billy, if you've got the information on the White Ribbon Ride, that'd be awesome. I'm trying to find out if there's any entries still available for that. So, so right up the Brisbane River on the, now let me get this one right. I can't, it's one of the dates in November. I think it was the, let me see if I can, oh, I can't even remember where it's located. Yeah, I can't remember where that one's located. I got the link from Jeff a while back. Wonder if I've still got it. Give me a second and I'll try and find it. Where is he? No, I can't find it. Can't remember where the link is for that. Sorry about that, guys. It's the, I think it's the week. 16 tickets left. Billy, what was the date of it again? Can you remember? Was it Friday morning at 11 a.m.? But I can't remember the exact date. I've got a feeling it might be the week before the Santa ride. Let me see. I might have it written down here actually. 18th of November. Got it. Yeah, I got it, mate. It's all good. Cheers, Billy. Yeah, so 18th of November, 11 a.m. 16 tickets still left. $50 a pop. If you want to get your entry, signed up for it. The idea is we get near the Story Bridge, and we get into the shape of a ribbon, and then we ride down that river under the Story Bridge and down underneath Kangaroo Point Cliffs in that formation, and it's to raise awareness for domestic violence. So all the money goes towards domestic violence. Yep. So I just want to give another shout out for that. So anybody that's looking for something to do, the ramp that we're using, we're going in at Colmsley boat ramp on the Friday, and it's a Friday at 11 a.m. Did it last year. It was later in the afternoon, but they missed the cut off for the media. So they're doing it earlier this year so they can get it in the 6 o'clock news on a Friday night. So yeah, so if you want to get yourself in the news, 16 tickets, 16 entries still available for it. I'll get Jeff to post it back up on the Jetski Riders Gold Coast and Brisbane page. I'll share it on, actually, I'll share it on the Jetski Republic page. And we can then, you guys know where to go, you can get the link, and you can click on it and grab your entry. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think we've wrapped everything up pretty much for this this week. Nothing else to cover. Next week, we're going to have, I've got Alex Ewing coming on. He's going to come on, and we're actually going to be broadcasting Thursday night as well, 7 o'clock. Oh, sorry, a quick one. The domestic violence ride is solo riders only, so no doubles, no couples on the one ski, one rider each ski. All right, so you can't pair up on the same ski. All right, thanks for that, Billy. Yeah, so next week we've got Alex Ewan coming on. Thursday night, Wednesday I can't do. I've got a work commitment. I've got a work function with a group that we've got coming through our program. We've got our graduation Wednesday night, so I'm committed to that one. I'm not going to be available for it for the show. So I'm going to broadcast on Thursday night, which actually helps Alex as well because he's only available on Thursday night. So Alex Ewan next week, and he's going to talk about the Glen Maggie event and the Victorian jet ski schedule or scene, or how the season's going to look for the year. So until next week, I'm going to leave you with a little video that caught my attention. Let me just get it set up. And yeah, so this one caught my attention. Michelle Sin, a little ride around the around the waters down the Gold Coast, posted this one the other day. As I've said before in the past, guys, if you're wanting your rec rides shared, I'm happy to do it. Send me your links, or tag me in your video, And then that way I can share it on here. I'm happy to get out there. The more the merrier. So this is Michelle's sin. Thanks, Michelle, for letting me show this one. We're going to end the show. Remember, next Thursday, 7 o'clock, I've got Alex Ewing on. And until next week, when you're out on the water, be safe, look after each other, and enjoy yourselves. Take care. Okay, guys. Listen, I've just had a message sent through to me. A little bit of an update on New South Wales. Let me just go to the page. I'll see if I can get it up for you. Let's just see. Yeah, so here's the announcement. So not good news. Not received enough nominations for the committee. As they have for the last few years. Urgently require someone to nominate as secretary for the New South Wales PWC, because if we do not have a nomination for a role, then the club will be forced to close. This means no racing. The secretary is a vital role to the club, and without it we simply cannot continue. We require someone who is willing to take on a majority of this role. We are happy to help the delegating part of the role to others. The secretary will have access to an assistant secretary who will assist in guiding, learning and overflow of jobs. If anyone wants any info on the role, feel free to shoot us a message or an email. This all being said, if we do not have enough general committee members, then there is no moving forward either. We again require more nominations in order to run the club. The club is for racers, their family and friends, and is run by volunteers to take time away from their personal lives to put on race events for you. So racers, if you have a family member or a friend or personally wish to support the club who gives you an opportunity to race, please reach out. It would be greatly appreciated. None of us want the club to fold. It would be a huge disappointment given the season and events we've got planned for next year. If no nominations are received by this Friday, so I mentioned earlier on that the nominations have been extended to the 26th, so it's 5 o'clock, which is the day before the AGM. So it has been, I have mentioned it earlier on, so again, just want to reiterate, 26th of August at 5 p.m. nominations for the AGM for the New South Wales. So they're looking for nominations for a secretary and general committee members. And these are the club will be reschedule. If no nominations are received by Friday the 26th, we'll reschedule the AGM once more, and after that, if we still don't have the numbers, the club will be dissolved as per the Constitution, and there'll be no jet ski racing in New South Wales. Guys, that would be such a shame. A lot of stuff's been going on behind the scenes to get this schedule put together. It would be a real shame to see it end. Because lack of interest for people wanting to help and support. So you've got, please guys, put your hand up. 26th of August, nominations for this Friday. There's still a little bit of time. If you're not sure of what's involved, get in touch with Matt, Mike, or Luca on the New South Wales page, and they'll happily go through what the roles involved are. If you're wanting more information on it, just before you make that commitment. Okay, so yeah, I had to flash back from that, and after running the video, I only got the message just as the video went on. So I just want to make, reiterate to everyone, guys, how important this is, which is why I cut back to the announcement. I couldn't leave it. Couldn't just ignore it. I thought I had to get it out. And help share it. So yeah, let's make this happen, please. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to leave it at that. Yeah, it's been good show. I've enjoyed it. It was first time meeting Paul. It was really good. I hope everyone that has tuned in has enjoyed it as well, and you get to learn something about someone that you probably don't always see or know much about. And that's the whole idea. That's what this is all about. So next week, remember, Alex Ewing. And the show will be on Thursday, not Wednesday. I've got work commitments. So 7 o'clock next week. So wherever you are, be safe. Be safe, out on the water, and have a blast and enjoy yourselves and be safe. All right. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you all next week. Thank you.